Hey everybody, Pete Bauer here, and today I wanted to talk a little bit about that story that we all have inside of us. I get approached quite a bit, actually, about people who have either written a story or have a story inside of them that they really, really want to tell. And I want to talk a little bit about the difference between that sort of writing and actually being a writer. Now, I think it's not surprising that in all of our lives, as we go through a lot of different experiences, that one really cool idea may manifest itself up in your brain. You know what I mean? There's that really cool idea of, wouldn't it be neat if, what would happen if, those kind of things. And some people actually take the time and they write them down, and they actually will come to me and ask for some guidance on what to do, and I'll walk them through kind of the steps of how you would do it to self-publish. And for those people, I think it's awesome. I think if you have that one story, that great idea that you really want to get out, I say go do it, right? I mean, who knows? You could win the lottery, lightning could strike, and it could be the next Harry Potter. But the reality is that sadly, more than likely that won't happen from a financial perspective. But it doesn't mean the reward of doing it is any less, But the difference between that and being a writer is that when writers write is really what it comes down to. So writers, when they write a book, they don't really need, since they're writing every day anyway. I mean, I've been writing almost every day since, something like 30 years, maybe. So, it's the only thing that keeps me sane, really. Everything else just kind of is the thing I have to do, but writing is the thing for me personally that I really want to do. It's the creative driver for me. So I've been writing every day for about 30 years. And so I'm going to write, and I'm going to put out a book, and I'm going to write and put out another book. So the need for that single book to be a success isn't nearly as important for writers who write every day, because they're just going to keep pumping out material. And it may not be until the 5th book or the 10th book or the 20th book that actually captures the imagination of people, and then it becomes viral, spreads like wildfire, things like that. So I just like to temper the expectations of people who have that one great story that they want to tell, and like I said, I think they should do it. I think they should go for it. I think they should tell it. But it's difficult in the world of publishing today, where there's literally you're kind of putting that book in an ocean full of other books. And the same struggle that every writer has, whether it's you have one novel or 50, is exposure. It's discoverability. So as much as I want to encourage people to do that, I just want to make sure that their expectations are correct in order to understand that once the excitement of getting that book published is done, if you want people to read it, there's a lot more work that has to be done. But that may not be the goal for some people. Some people just need to get that story out of their brain and onto the page. And I think that's awesome. And there's never been an easier time in human history to do that than now. One of the funny things for me when it comes to writing is that a long time ago, maybe, 15, 20 years ago, I read a book. And back then I was doing a lot of things. I was doing some low budget independent work as part of my creative outlet. I was writing, I was directing, I was even acting in some of these things. And a lot of them, they were just practice, really. Again, just ways for me to express my creativity. But I read this book, and it was talking about defining kind of who you are as a person. And it said, write down everything that you think best represents you into like a paragraph or two. Just write it out. And then take that and turn it into a couple lines, a couple sentences. And then after that, turn it into one sentence. And then after that, imagine you had a business card and you had to take that one sentence and you had to put it, that's one or two words on that business card. What would that word or one or two words be? And for me, to my surprise, actually, it said Pete Bauer, writer. Because up to that point, I always really kind of thought of myself as a director or a screenwriter, director / but I never thought of myself purely as a writer. But when it really came down to it, that's the thing I had been doing the most in my life, in one form or another, is writing. So for someone like me, I get up, as I mentioned before, I get up early and I write before I go to my day job because it keeps me from, there's a thing called resistance, and you want to avoid resistance when you're trying to do something creative. So I get up before any of the things in the day can get in my way, and my brain's just free to focus on what I'm trying to accomplish. And so I write, and I've been doing this in one form or another, like I said, for decades. So for me, the writing process isn't about that one book. It's about the next book, the next story, the next idea. But if you do have that one book, that one great idea, man, go do it. Because the rewards of, I will say this, the rewards of finishing a book, I say 99% of the people who want to write a book don't write it. Holding a finished draft, a finished copy of your book is an amazing and rewarding experience. So for that alone, if you have that one great story, go for it. Go do it. Write it down. Have some friends read it, edit it, and get a good book cover and get it out there and see what happens. So, so for all of you, whether you're an everyday writer or that one story writer, keep at it. Keep at it. It's worth it. It's the creative experience. It can be challenging sometimes, but it can be pretty amazing too. All right, so that's it. I just wanted to share that with you. I will see you guys next time.